Same LibCom podcast presents The Great Debate. Old problems, new solutions. Let's get it.
Welcome to the second season of the Saint LibCom podcast. I'm your host, Saint, and these are the great debates where we're going to uplift the community by pushing the culture forward. People who move the culture. Let's get it. Couldn't think of a better first guest to have on the first episode this season. He's a legend in the rap game, top lyricist, someone who's received hip-hop quotable not once, not twice, but 3 times in The Source. MC of 25 years, debuting his album, Soul on Ice. He's brought it all around. 25 years later, it was Soul on Ice 2. West Coast legend, rap legend, Ras Kass.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
I'm honored.
Let's argue. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm honored, man. So, congrats on the album.
Thank
by
you.
The way. Soul on Ice 2, I think. To be honest with you, man, it's one of the first albums that I listened to in a really long time. I mean, a really long time. Listened all the way through. Listened to the hot stuff, right? Then went back and really listened to it.
Right.
So it was. I think it's really representative of your whole career.
Thank you.
It was moving, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was really nice. So I want to let you know. So each episode, I'm gonna bring a little bit of wine. Kind of goes
Right.
with the episode. And
Nice.
today, so cheers. Thanks for joining me,
Salute.
man. Yes, for sure. Today I brought a Bordeaux. It's classified growth. Long story short, Napoleon classified all these French wines way back in the day.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
The very top 5 houses, 2 of them are owned by the Rothschild. So interesting history with the wine game. I know you love.
Yeah, I
Europe,
love history.
right? You love history. You love Europe. Talk about moving back there. We kind of spoke about that. So I thought you kind of.
I don't specifically love Europe. I just like places that actually like its citizens. So that could be Canada.
Yeah, there you go. I feel you. Yeah. Well, listen, man. So I told you from the jump, I'm a black conservative. And, I thought it was important that we have some difficult conversations. I really think it could move the culture forward. And it's funny. So, we were introduced through my cousin Tash. So shout out to Tash, right? Shout out to Tash, big cousin. And when we got first introduced, I remember you saying, "Oh, he's a conservative, though, huh?" And so I appreciate you coming in, having this conversation, having a little debate and everything.
Right.
And I understand, where that came from, but why did you come today, and why do you think it might be, important to have these type of conversations?
I think it is very important to exchange ideas. We have more in common than we have differences.
Yeah.
That's just people, humans, period. And a lot of times we let our differences divide us. And I can vehemently disagree with somebody, but in the world we live in, we can't afford to hate each other. I mean, unless you are just a complete Uncle Tom, and there, I am very interested in getting rope and lynching people, but that's a whole different conversation.
I don't even know if I want to go down there.
Right, follow me down a rabbit hole. It might get really dark.
I know, man. I'm trying to keep us focused.
I'm on some Nat Turner, bro.
Well, I think it's important to have these type of conversations again, so we can find new solutions.
Yeah.
To fix some old problems, because maybe what we haven't been doing is not been working.
Right.
So
communication. Always.
100%. Because through that communication, you'll get some new ideas.
Right.
New way of approaching things. New way of solving things. What I want to do, I kind of want to go over the album, right?
Okay.
Soul on Ice 2, and just talk about some of the ideas that you had in the album that you were rapping about, and
well overall for the album, for me it was I don't take it lightly to do a part 2 of anything. You know, especially in my career, you know, I've had my highs, my lows, whatever. It's been you know, my own personal struggle, whatever. But what I did realize is, you know, you have people on your sweatshirt. You have Marilyn Monroe and Tupac. You know, Tupac won't be able to, this is 25 years of a journey that, first of all, this culture, hip hop gave me a way to express myself creatively. Before that, I was a visual artist. I did some degree of gymnastics, but I was mainly visual artist. And I realized I didn't want to do that my entire life. And then the music came. You know, actually, I was a fan of it. I didn't think I'd be a part of it. Right. And I'll try to make a long story short. So I've been able to sustain myself and have an amazing journey thanks to this music. And I'm also, it's been 25 years of my life. It's been more than 2/3 of my life doing this professionally. And so you know, Tupac, he can't do that. You know, Nipsey won't be able to do that. And so for me, if nothing else, this is kind of a love letter to the culture that gave me an opportunity to, you know, help my family, help myself. Maybe some of the words and things that I've said in the songs have helped other people. But this was my vehicle, my platform. So it's a love letter to the culture. Thanks for the 25 years, you know, to the creator or whatever you believe in, higher power, the nature that I'm still here after 25 years, no matter, you know, it's not, you know, for me, it's not who's the most popular. I know I'm really good at what I do, and I'm thankful to be able to celebrate that. And in a more, you know, for me, I also wanted to be introspective. Like, you know, why did I write Solo Nights for me? And with that being answered, to say 25 years later, what do I agree with? What do I disagree with? How have I changed? You know, for me, it was a mirror. I had to look at, like, who am I? I know who I was then because it's documented. And now, who am I now?
It does show an evolution, man.
Yeah.
It shows a big evolution. I mean, to me, this is your best work, right?
Thank you. Look, I feel like that too.
And one of the reasons I wore this, well, a couple of reasons, you know, I hold you lyrically up with Pop. I know a lot of people do.
Thank you.
But also, your music talks a lot about, and even on this album, how we're all the same race. You know, the human race. You know what I mean? And we got two icons who people most would consider from a different race, right? Right. But they share in the same space right here. They both, life was taken kind of from that entertainment industry, and you know, kind of segueing into that. You know, your first two tracks on this album, right? Silver Anniversary, Grammy Speech. I think it is a real commentary on the industry, right?
Yes,
those people that are making the music, those people that are putting out the music, right? So tell me a little bit about a couple of your experiences with your career and the characters you've had to deal with.
I mean, you know, it's I don't think it's not a unique experience. You know, you're going from art to the business of art, and the business tends to cloud the art. And, you know, and then within that business, you have personalities, you have cultural differences, you have, you know, I would even, you know, I would say that you have people with different agendas about what they want you to be, and all those things are competing and conflicting. I don't have any specific story to say, except for there was definitely one time within the corporate structure at the label I was with where an executive told me I was too smart for my own good. So who wants to hear that? Right. I mean, what does that mean? Right. Is that stay in your place, nig? I mean, what am I supposed to gather? It
means
from
we
that?
need more bitches in 40s. That's what that means.
Well, I had to have those conversations also. Like, hey, man, you signed me doing an 8-minute history on racism. Right. Why do you think I would put on a khaki suit and crip walk into a 6'4"? Like, I'm born and raised here, and I forgot how to crip walk by the time I was in high school. So why would I redo that now because it's popular? That's whack.
Yeah.
And and some people did it, and it made them a lot of money. And then what I've realized is, what do you want out of this? And that's just overall the journey of life. Like, what do I want? Some of the things I may want them, and I work hard for them. I may not get them because I'm not willing to do whatever it takes.
Right.
I'm not willing to do everything to get $1.
I'm not willing to act like buckwheat and dress up like Medea.
I'm not. Right. I'm not willing to, I'm not a gay guy. I'm not willing to suck I'm not taking up the ass or just certain things. But some people are, for whatever their goal is, they're selling out. Where do you feel like your soul is going? There's certain things I just feel like I'm not interested in that, and I'm not doing that because that's not who I presented. If I change into that, I may never come back from it. So I don't want to, be something that I'm not.
And when you saw the industry kind of push people that way or try to push you that way, I mean, is it business? Is it malice? I
think there's quite a few things. Again, I don't presume to have the answers to the black experience in America. There's W.E.B. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and quite Maya Angelou. A lot of people have tried to explain it. Baldwin. We all keep trying to explain. I'll tell you this: Du Bois started with one philosophy and totally evolved. And what he had was, all the light-skinned black people, which this is developing now in 2020 again, where there's a, highly mulatto door opened and darker people are not getting a lot of representation, period.
Sure.
And hence, and then it's even, then Oscar so white and all that stuff. But Du Bois' thing was a talented 10th, that the 10th that were mixed and, and educated, but mixed mainly. Like if you had my dad was white, so I understand and I can communicate to the government and to society what they do to us. That was his belief system, and he pushed that for a long time, and then he hit the reality that this was intentional. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah. And he said, get a gun, and then he moved to Africa. and
solved the problem.
I mean, it didn't solve the problem. It escaped, but my whole thing is we've contributed here so much in ways we don't even know, because a lot of us don't know our heritage. We don't know that we were already here before. We don't know our history. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not just leaving for them to reap the benefits. Right. We deserve what we deserve. It ain't no handouts. A reparation ain't even a handout. But we continually.
I like to say America's our birthright. We built this shit.
Yeah, I'm not going back nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. This is me. You go back where you not supposed to be, because my grandmother, Blackfoot Indian, and like most of us, if we knew our heritage, we would know we are Native American also. So where do I need to go? I don't need to go nowhere. You need to go. Or we can all coexist and be humans.
And I think I get that second part a lot more from your message, right? We need to coexist.
The first album was You Go Somewhere. Yeah, right. The second album is that growth. That is something I took away
from. That's the evolution I've seen.
That's what I did. That's what I learned about myself, is that I'm a lot less two sides of, black and white. I'm just like, look, man, be a human. We know the history of what makes people Asians and Filipinos and Mexicans. I don't want to alienate nobody. I'm really on some have and have nots, good and evil. Like, are you just a bad person? Right. Because there's, there.
But you would say these record execs are bad people.
Of course, they're bad people.
Yeah.
And
they don't have our interests at heart.
They didn't. Sure. I don't think that today. And they they happen to be from a group, ethnic group that was not mine. Whatever that ethnic group was, period. Whether it was Jewish, Italian, Irish, German, Russian, those people saw me as a collective and my people as, oh, you guys do that, so you should do that because that makes us money. It's like, no, we're not all a monolithic type of. The only place white people really exist is in America. You Polish people don't like Russians, bro. You go to Poland. Irish people don't like British people like that.
Yeah.
Australians don't
They're
really
very
like
nationalist.
Brits.
They're very nationalist.
Yeah. Well, there's cultural differences, people, and tribal differences, and like I said, historical differences where people were beefing. The Latins didn't like the Vikings. Vikings was run over there raping and pillaging.
Right.
So these monolithic thoughts that we have are just it's something that got perfected in America. I'm not gonna say it was created here, but it got perfected.
Yeah, because it was definitely.
It was already popping.
It was already popping.
The black and white thing was popping by the time we got out of the dark ages.
For sure. And I think you talk about it, Midnight Sun, right? My first takeaway from that was.
How did he get CeeLo Green on that song?
Well, hey, shout out to CeeLo Green, by the way. Shout out to CeeLo. Yeah, that song is hot, man. And
thank you, Ronnie.
And you can tell CeeLo produced that. Like that's a CeeLo track.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, man. He
produced it, featured on it.
Well, he didn't actually produce it. The Olympics, who are multi-platinum producers, produced it. My reach was that I heard CeeLo on that record, and I didn't. It was so political and not necessarily in the zone that CeeLo goes in for his singles.
Right.
But I'm really grateful to him for being a part of it and seeing the vision and I didn't know what he would do with it, and he did exactly what I didn't know but kind of felt he would do, and he killed it. And
it's a beautiful song, too.
Yeah, and then my homegirl, Psalms, she's actually in South Africa. She's a South African, so she's singing in her tribal language.
Nice.
And so, I wanted to make a world music record. Right now everybody's kind of doing like, the Drake records and the with no disrespect, whatever, the Rihanna records, and they're kind of like pop reggae, but it's called world music. I wanted to make a world music record, but I've traveled some of this world too, and I wanted to make something that was inclusive without the watered downness of it. I still wanted it to have an edge, and CeeLo took it there for me. Both of them, they killed it.
It's hot.
Thank you.
It's hot, man. And again, my first takeaway, we're all part of the human race.
Yeah, what if I told you that you are not white and I'm not black?
It's hot, man.
That's a scientific construct. It is.
Oh, man.
I mean, the psychological construct is not scientific. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, another thing I got from it was, just like you said, kind of know your history, right? Mm-hmm. And typically when I hear people say like, you got to know your history or you're bound to repeat it, this is like, that's usually like a lead in to bash America or some shit. But what I hear from you is it's more know your history so you can have pride in who you are, so you can really understand your
I don't
origins.
even believe in pride. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there might be a semantics thing.
Sure.
It's just respect.
Okay. Yeah.
I think pride because, there are people that are racist, rapists, child molesters, and they have pride. Because pride is blind. I think having respect to know the truth and say, you know what, this is the truth, and I want to have respect for that and show some respect to the people before me that gave me this foundation. White nationalism and white pride is. Yeah, it's not based on anything factual.
Yeah,
it's not.
Definitely nothing productive.
It's just not based on facts. Jesus was not a white guy. There are no J's in Hebrew. So now you've created this persona being prideful of your lie. So I don't, for me, do
you think Africans in America are the people of the Bible?
People at the what?
The people of the Bible?
This is a problem with that. How do we trace it? They erased our records.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that they didn't pick everybody from the West Coast. We're not all taken from the West Coast.
Right, yeah.
And then you have to remember that we were already selling here before. Like Africans, there's a current that will take you without a sail on it. You can just ride it to America and South America and come back up. So you talk about 100 to 200,000 years of people doing this. We've been doing this. Been coming over here. And we're different tribes. You have, what you're going to call, let's see. I forgot what they're called. What I'm trying to say is the distinction between Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. So Eritrea and Ethiopians, those are like they're still biologically the same people, but you got Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, which all of that was Egypt. It was Upper and Nubia. All these people are different tribes. It doesn't make them different people. Yeah. And these people are traveling, conquering. And so to answer your question, yes, the people of that time period who were doing, the Phoenicians were African people. So Hannibal's people, the Carthaginians, those are tribes. Those are not races. It's just different tribes of people in different locales.
Different lines.
I mean, think about it. Before any ism was tribalism. So we're on the right side of the river. You guys are on the left side of the river. We the left coast. We the right coast. Okay. Now they brothers and sisters, and then the brothers spread out. And then one brother get mad. He go conquer and he go rob and rape and steal. Plus he like his chick. You know, that story been replaying since the beginning of time. Right. Animals do it. That's exactly what the young line come back because the old line getting old and he got all the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying it's too mixed up to be able to trace it back.
I think you could. I think you could. I don't know any. That's not my.
It's not your faith.
That's my expertise scientifically, but. First of all, I know that whatever we're doing with that 23andMe can't be accurate because there's certain things that just aren't racist. So you can't tell me, I'm not here to make anybody pissed off, but I probably will. There's no way you can indicate a Jew. You're talking about an Ashkenazi, and Ashkenazis happen to be Polish, Russian. So how do you make that? What DNA makes that, and again, Judaism is a religion, not a race. Now, the Hebrews is one thing. So how are you Jewish? There's the oldest Hebrews are in Somalia and Ethiopia. So how come they're not popping up as Jewish? So
they're not popping up as Ashkenazi Jew for sure.
But they're not even popping up. Their semantics don't even call them Jews when they're the oldest Jews.
Well, because that reference to Judaism,
yeah, but
not to Judaism, but that reference to the oldest Hebrews is more, like you said, a religion, not a tribe.
There was a tribe of people. There's a tribe of Israel, but what I'm trying to say is if you take a DNA test and it tells you that you are Jewish, how can it do that?
It is saying Ashkenazi Jew, though. Like on the DNA test, it does say Ashkenazi Jew.
Does it come up as Falasha Jew?
It's who?
Falasha Jew.
No. Well, right. I don't know. That I don't know.
And there are so many of us. Because I would bet money on that some of those. Now here I'm just putting the thesis out. I would say most of us, if you're tracing that, this is what throws me off. They found the mitochondrial DNA of they call her Lucy, of the person they can trace. She was in lower part of Africa. I forgot what country.
Okay,
but basically, she's like the Eve of all human beings. They found the mitochondrial DNA in this lady that would create anybody else after her.
Right.
So she was a part of a family tree that would survive to create everybody else. Little black pygmy lady in Southern Africa. If you can find that, and now you can tell me who an Ashkenazi is when some are Russian, some are Polish, some are German, some are... How come you can't find none of that in us? In you could, if that's so much the case, how come it's not showing up in all these other people when we know historically these people are even more literally on the continent and down the street and recorded as being the people who were these people?
Well, the DNA test doesn't define them as those people, right?
Yeah, I just don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, so if they're trying to make a match between
Jewish, I just don't understand
Hebrews and the people that we would say are the oldest Hebrews today, right? Well, they don't have the right DNA. They're trying to match it up with, is my understanding.
But whose DNA
know.
did they pick? Because whose DNA did they pick to make those people Jewish? Is what I'm saying.
Well, it's my understanding they picked that DNA from the Caucasus Mountains and from that region, not necessarily not saying that those people were ever.
But then Judaism doesn't have any roots in the Caucasus Mountains.
Right. But I'm not saying what I'm saying is the DNA. If you see the DNA of an Ashkenazi Jew, it's traced back to an area in the Caucasus Mountains, not Israel. But that's how they have defined it, right? As Ashkenazi Jew, they could define it as Khazarian, right? Or they could define it as whatever.
Well, that's
right?
probably what they should do, because I think it's a very misleading thing.
Yeah, we could go
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of our biggest problems is we keep letting other people create our narrative, and again, that's why I'm saying the whole history thing. I the one thing I always I would have to tell my my friends and whatever, I'd say, look, man, who's running Egypt right now ain't who was running Egypt when Abraham was around.
Right.
Arabs are not indigenous to Africa. Right. That's why they have a place called Arabia, Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So neither the white guy or the Arab guy, they keep trying to lay claim to a land that's not theirs and a history that's not theirs. And so to answer your question, yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of us have we are definitely the descendants of the people that are in that book.
Okay.
The people they have a book that's dedicated to Europeans in the Bible. It's called Romans.
Yeah.
They were the Romans. They were the ones that killed the God guy. Not the guys that was with the God guy. Not of the culture or we're not doing race here. I'm not interested in race, but they just were not of the land, not of the culture, not of the bloodline directly recently of that guy. Neither were those people that claim the heritage or that try to become ish. They're not. They don't have the history behind them to create that. And what they want to do is make us seem like we're crazy if we suggest what's technically factual when you can look at it in great historians. I went to college and I took physical, cultural, anthropology, and I would do it. And every, A, B, 1, 2, 3, the classes. The more you got, like Nature of the Threat is 90% from my college courses.
Yeah.
The crazier thing is that it's a straining thing. By the time they taught us that, we're already adjusted to know what to say in public and how to act. Same thing with a Marine. He can go out at 18 years old and you can go sit in a hole for that's 110 degrees just to shoot one dude. But if you come over here and defend yourself because the police fucking with you, then you're the bad guy. Like, they've made up, down is up, right is wrong, male is female, female is male. We just live in a society where, where we value somebody else's worth more than we value our own, and we won't even go research. We know there's something inner
right
telling us, like, this is not right. This is not how it should be.
But spend the time to.
But because they dangle this, you need food, you got to eat. Look at what Beyonce and Jay-Z did this week. You want to do that. You like that car?
A lot of distractions.
So you act right. It's a carrot and a stick. Act right, and you guys can have this American dream. And meanwhile, really, they ripping off all of us, even the white people too. So they're selling them a different dream. Blame the niggas. Blame the Mexicans. Then they telling the Mexicans. Blame the niggas. Then telling the Asians. You can be like us too. Just blame the niggas and blame the Mexicans. Poor whites. Blame the niggas in China. And meanwhile, somebody's dangling all the carrots, getting all the money. This is a have and have not situation end of the day.
It's a lot of distractions.
But we are the end of we are like the bottom of that totem pole of who they've taken from and still blamed and still murdered. And we have to understand our position in that. As much as I want the world to be, a place of that we all see our commonality, there is tribalism, which has become nationalism. And then they try to develop this thing called racism. And they've done it. They said, oh, we're a race, and this is a different race. It doesn't exist. It's not science, but if that's what you believe, that's where you're at, and that's your reality, and I can't change that. And if our systems perpetuate that, which they do, then
the systems are definitely set up to keep those differences in place, right?
Yeah.
And
because then you don't look at who's really reaping the benefits.
Right. You're too busy pointing the finger. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. My faith tells me we're the people of the Bible. You know, we rebelled against Jesus and God, and for the last 400 years, it's been Deuteronomy curses and
the fall of those people is shit. Look, white supremacy has been on this planet for 4,000 years. So I don't ascribe to me personally, and we have this where we can have a difference of views. I see a lot of those things as parables. You can look at a lot of those miracles in there, and there's they tried to rewrite this though, but hair of lambs, lambs will feed of burnt brass. I watched new amended versions of the Bible where it keeps changing slowly but surely. He's becoming a white guy.
He's just
eyes of blue water. Like they're gonna keep switching this narrative, man. You're not playing on a level playing field when you talk about power and control.
Yeah. Especially with information. I mean,
right.
Because the information is being controlled,
right,
and people are not actively looking for that information.
Right.
So look, moving on, so next two tracks, FLY, shout out to DJ Green Lantern, by the way. Yes,
man. Shout out to Green.
The hot track. Street Superstar, shout out to Justice League.
Yes.
Another man, this album is just it's complete. It's complete, man. The production is just.
My son was telling me that a couple of days ago again, just like, man, like he felt he was just very proud. He's like, man, this is incredible. Like I was listening, he was just saying he was listening again, just like, yo, man, like this and Soul on Ice. I know everything else was dope, and you were going through and fighting your fight and whatever, but I'm glad that. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm glad you like it and appreciate what I tried to do.
Yeah, man. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
I'm a fan. Let's move into White Power.
Mm-hmm.
I love this song. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love this song. To me, the reason I really like it is it talks a little bit about history, right? Mm-hmm. And how white power is, but it really talks about the systems of oppression that are going on today.
The effects,
like
the
today,
current events. Yeah.
The current events.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, how do you see white power or the system manifest itself today?
I mean, how don't we? I mean, look at Trump. I mean, I look at white power as anybody that can get on a stage and blame an entire ethnic group and people cheer for that. That's some Hitler shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It played into white male angst and uncomfortability that their position is being stolen. So the blacks, they're taking our, like, what you call them, because they're so fucking smart to me. South Park, they always have this part with, they're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs.
I haven't watched South Park in a minute, but
bro. And that's what it is. The Mexicans, they're taking our jobs. With us, they're raping our women. Like, bro, nobody's running around here. The white girls getting asses trying to jump on us. They raping us, literally. So it's. So
you're saying that fear that is instilled in people that you think Trump is doing is
that's one way that it has manifested.
How does that affect us?
Shit. I mean, for me. My personal, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I'll talk about us. I won't talk about me personally right now. That's just a whole bigger can of worms. But I think white male privilege, it's always affected us. My mother recalled, I remember her telling me this when I was younger, college educated. Went to get a job. They told her she was
Overqualified.
and then the man, zipped his pants down. White guy.
Mm-hmm.
Some Me Too movement shit. But that was a
Terrible
given
story,
back in the 60s and 70s. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and not only did, what I always try to remind people is, that wasn't only happening to women of color or white women. Now, everybody goes crazy when the white ladies start talking about it happen. What about the black men that that happens to?
Yeah.
That even back in the day, in 1880, when the white man pulled his zipper down, and you're a heterosexual man, but you got to feed your family, and he like, blow me.
But is that systematic?
I ascribe to the Kress, Francis Kress, Welsing, the ISIS papers. Of course it is. It's entertainment, education, politics, economics, education, all of it. I think racism is a system. I'm about to start quoting the Nature of the Threat. It literally is, and everybody buys into it because we pay our taxes, and we buy into it because we propel the system, and subconsciously, I think white people know that they benefit extremely by playing that game, and so what is it? You're guilty by
association.
Not association, just by not doing shit. You're guilty by, I forgot there's a term.
By just standing by and watching.
Right. Yeah. There's a specific word, but the same thing. You're guilty because you don't do shit. You're just kind of watching.
Complacency.
But complacency, and you're reaping the benefits. You're not actively hurting people, but you're like, yeah, I know. I kind of get over because I got a lot. I mean, I have friends that always are gonna say that, like, and I can't be mad at them for acknowledging they got an additional plus for having. I mean, Eminem said it many times. Like, he made a song, "White America," saying, "You guys wouldn't support, you wouldn't be buying my records, and my shit wouldn't be going super crazy like this if I was a black guy."
Yeah.
He's
one in a million. No, I mean, he's not the common experience.
Yeah, but
here's why I'm trying to go with it.
Yeah,
because what I hear you in this song saying, I hear you saying, white power is perception, right? So, and what I see there's a group of folks that want us to perceive that they're doing good for us, but they don't do shit for us.
Right.
I see you say white power is dividing the races, right? So kind of what you were just talking about, but always pointing at the other guy and saying they hate you, right? They hate you. I see that same group of people doing that. There's actually a line though. I think it's one of the hardest bars on the fucking album, to be honest with you, bro. Man. Now, when you say white power is 41 black people.
Oh, trying to escape the ghetto.
Yeah. Go through all that all the way to the education point.
I'm trying to remember the line. White power is 41 million blacks trying to escape the ghetto. Niggas blast metal for. I don't know I can't remember the rhyme. Yeah, crabs in the barrel. To push Maybach pedals. I say girls.
12-year-old girls with 6-inch
stilettos, but barely reading and write on the 5th grade level.
And to me, that sums it up. You're talking about two things, right? Because all those things, all those bad negative images that you're kind of talking about, those lost goals, those kind of come from that negative media that we already talked about, right? But then here's how I see white power manifested through education. Like, that's a system, where if you're poor and you're going to live in a poor neighborhood, you're going to have a bad school.
Right.
You go to school, you're not educated. You can't get a good job, so you're going to be poor.
So you perpetuate the system.
It's a cycle, right? Like, that is a system. That's not, saying mean shit, right? Like Trump. I mean, that. So again, how do you see a system of oppression manifest? I mean, I think you said it right there, right? So that's one. I mean, do you see any other type of systems that are kind of
think about it. We have the prison industrial complex.
100%.
You miseducate people. You already said that. Then you're talking about what they do economically, where people get potholes in the street and the water don't work and the
Mm-hmm.
So that I would say, for an example, in Michigan with the water.
Yeah.
You know, like all those things, any one could be a major component in destroying the growth of a human being.
Right.
But they're all of them, you know. I'm going to save what I was going to go into until, because I know we have another segment.
Sure,
but I'm going to save it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's if you don't eat well, your bad diet, then you get the obesity, you know, the ADHD, you know, whatever, because people were malnourished. There was somebody that did the experiment of there were no grocery stores within whatever the 10-mile radius. So everybody's eating Snickers and, you know, man can't live on ramen noodle alone. I mean, we do it, you know, you do it in prison, but why would you want to, you know, like that? The Whole Foods are where the Whole Foods are.
Right.
And then, I do it. I live in Koreatown, man. I know the one that's closer to, on Wilshire. That shit way fresher than the shit on 3rd. Honestly, man, I go to the one on Wilshire because it's
in the right neighborhood.
It's
in the right neighborhood.
It's in the right neighborhood. I'm looking at the prices are lower. That's the funnier thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So you rob. Basically, poor people aren't a drain on society. Poor people are just going to be poor. But when you everybody from capitalism, communism, all those philosophies on how to organize a society, none of them are really horrible. Commune, that's where communism comes from. There's nothing wrong with conservatism because you want to conserve, you don't want to waste. So in theory, they're all cool. You know what the problem is? Somebody has to run them, and they weaponize them.
Right.
So conservatism becomes fucked up. Capitalism becomes it's just because now you got my team. So everybody else needs to, you guys need to work harder. Although I've never worked a day in my life. My dad gave it to me, and plus I have a certain skin color, and I know in this society you're gonna be in the bottom of the fucking tree. But I expect the same things from you that I never did in my own life. And so
you think? I mean, did you talk a lot about privilege? I mean, it sounds like you think that the system of privilege
we know
is
it.
Oppressive, right?
We know that this society rewards white people. They've done a million studies about showing people pictures. Who you think is a thief?
Yeah.
The black guy is the thief because they've already conditioned people to say that's bad, that's good. They've rewritten history to make the God. It's education. It's all of them. Yeah. Like I said, I ascribe to the crest theory. There's like 9 of them. Google. For those that don't know, Google. Because I think they outlawed their book. I think Trump and them or whatever. For real. Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar. I keep on saying
her name is Frances Cress Welsing. She wrote a book called The ISIS Papers way prior to 1996. I know
before Biden put them together.
She's a doctor. She was a doctor and a historian and a psychologist, and she wrote about racism, black woman, and it's called the ISIS Papers, the Crest theories. But she breaks down racism in all its systems and how they affect, and it's an amazing book. A lot of Nature of the Threat is applied from there, and I actually quote her when I say racism is a danger to education. It affects all lives in all areas of human communication. History, that's her. I'm just quoting her from the book. But brilliant woman, but I believe they blacklisted that book. I
have to look that up. So here's I want to bring it back to education, right? Because I think, you look all the way back to slavery, right? They didn't want us to learn. They didn't want us to read. There's a reason for that. Do you think there's a way to have better educational outcomes for our community than we're having right now?
Of course there is.
And do you think
of course there is.
School choice is a part of that?
So I was privileged enough to early on. When I had my, I didn't have them. When their mother had my twin boys, Ras and Taj, there's a school right down the street from here, on Crenshaw and Slauson. It's called Marcus Garvey. And kids basically, they learned 2 languages, outside of English, one of them being Swahili, and then the other one was whatever, I guess the options were, French, Spanish, Italian, whatever. Most kids that graduated from there tended to graduate around 10th grade, go off to great schools, but have knowledge of self. What I'm saying is this. We have built this country, but we built it for white men. That's who I always try to tell people, you can go anywhere and know who the boss, who the top of the food chain is. It's on the money. So you know who your daddy is in America because they already put him on the money. If it was niggas, if it was anything else, or Chinese niggas or women, it's not. It's a white guy, old white niggas. So we built it for old white people. We need to understand he don't like when those rules change. Koreans have additional schools. Jews have Hebrew school. Mexicans have blah, blah, blah. If we think that America is going to finally realize how much wrong and they've stolen from us, you got another thing coming. If we don't build it for ourselves, we are fucked. I appreciate the Oprahs, but you build it in Africa, you need to build it home first and stop destroying black men. I have a big issue with her and Gail. All they do is denigrate black men and ass kiss white men.
But you're right. So I'm familiar with Marcus Garvey.
Right.
We looked at putting my daughter there. I think you're right. So having not only just a traditional education, but having an education that speaks to you, that speaks to your culture, that teaches you about your self-worth is super important. Right. So these are not the traditional public schools, right?
Even if you go to public school, but we got to start building our own public schools. We have to. I don't have the resources. I wrote this curriculum when I was in juvenile hall before I was Ras Kass. I wrote the book. I still have my book with my curriculum of the school I would want, the perfect school. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that this has always been in my heart. This is not me trying to become some other guy. I've just been who I've been for a long time. I self-actualized pretty early, and then I tried to execute. Things haven't gone the way I want, but. The reality is, and I'm not trying to call out names to demean people, but your Oprahs and your Michael Jordans and your Jay-Z's and your Beyoncé's, you guys ass kiss these people that don't do shit for us. They don't, not on the whole, man. Yeah. And you know what? I was always taught this. This is an African thing. Me against my brother. Me and my brother against my uncle. Me and my brother. It's called filial piety. You take care of home first. That's what it basically means. So niggas want to go save whales and fucking dogs and people in other countries. We fucked up right here. We need to protect us. Black people have built everything, and I mean the black American, the so-called black American, we done built all this shit for the past fucking 200 years. The NASA programs, design in D.C., we are the fucking scientists. We are the ones, they didn't get all the bum niggas from Africa. They got a lot of the ill niggas. Right. Whether that person was called the Moor, that's just another term or Ethiop. Most of the countries in Africa are just different names and different languages that mean black. So I just wanted to wrap this up. I just feel like us waiting. We have to realize we're double citizens. We are citizens of America, and I'm cool with that. And I wish the best for this country, but I understand this country has not wanted the best for us. So I also have to understand that I'm a so-called black American. I'm a world African. And that I got to take care of my people first. And if our people started seeing that as our underlying first things first, we are world Africans. Secondarily, I'm a fucking American.
Well, yeah, and I do think we have to take care of ourselves.
Because other people see it that way.
And we can't rely on other people to kind of drive that agenda. It's not even relying.
Right?
But I guess where I want to go is to get those type of educational outcomes, to get those changes in those educational outcomes. We support people that fight against that, right? I mean, the Bernie Sanders of the world, the liberals, the leftists, the Democrats, they hate school choice. Like they want everybody in a public school, the same failing public schools that we've had forever. So why do we do that?
Well, I would say this: those public schools didn't fail when they had their kids in them.
But
in 1950, 1960.
The tactics have evolved, and we're in a situation where
they created those tactics And that's why they started creating
right. So why don't we get
suburbs.
away from those tactics? Why don't we try to get away from those tactics?
I don't necessarily look.
Charter schools, Felicia, can you pull up C01, C1? I mean, charter schools perform better than public schools on a whole, right?
Okay.
Right. We'll show a stat that the graduation rate from college, right, if you went to a charter school versus a public school, 5 times higher.
Five times higher.
So we need to push for, in my opinion, those type of things. But we support people.
So what is
that.
LeBron's school for the kids?
He pays for everyone to go to college.
Yeah, he's the man. Like
right?
I'm talking. That's what's stepping up to me.
Yeah,
now, is that a charter school? What is that?
I think it is a charter school, but don't.
See, it's a regular public school, but it's him. And he didn't say white kids couldn't come or Mexicans, but he knows what the predominant people.
That's working outside of the system that we typically work in, right? Right. With the NEA and the Teachers Association, they're not with that.
I'm with you in whatever it takes to give. Every human should be allowed, especially in a country of this kind of wealth, in a state with this kind of wealth. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm not a fucking Republican or a Democrat. I think they're two sides of fuckery.
Sure.
But one's way worse.
Who's that?
The Republicans. They're totally worse.
But they want to give a school choice, though.
You know what? They talk a lot.
And I hate to say that. My bad.
They talk.
They give us. I hate to say they can give us shit. Right? They push for school choice.
But they also push for trickle down economics, which has been proven to destroy. It destroyed America. Destroyed.
We can go there, but hold on. So if we stay on education, though, they're pushing something that will work for us as opposed to leftists, the same status quo.
I'll tell you what, if that is the plus that they're pushing for, that would actually, if that affects change, that's something that you have more information on. Charter schools, if that is something that's a plus, I'm always about the plus. I don't care where it came from. Right. If it's a positive. If it's going to get a positive result, then I'm 100% with that.
So you're for the policy, you're not for the party. Me too. Like I don't care who wants to give a school choice, right? I wish Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden would want to give a school choice, right? I wish they would push for that,
right?
But they're not, right? They're not.
But then that's
so
that would be a great thing if that is going to create the outcome, the desired outcome. I don't know because it's not my specifics,
right? Well, I mean, so you do have passion about criminal justice reform, about the war on crime. You know more about that. I see the same people pushing all that shit on us too, though, right? I mean, Joe Biden, he's
man. The
Clinton crime bill, right? The 84 marijuana bill.
But come on now, and don't tell me that the Republican right, they're executing more people. They brought back executions and have killed more people again than
Planned Parenthood.
Now,
they haven't killed that many people. But hold on, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. I don't want to go off on that. I don't want to go off on that. Right?
I don't have a vagina, and you don't either, so I don't really get into the business of that. And I think, for real, men, especially white men, and radical, keep your God with you. Don't get to telling other people what to do with their body. So all that Christian shit about what a woman should do, and you're killing, let God deal with that.
So should murder be okay? Because God says, thou shalt not murder.
Once again,
that should be okay because God says, God said, do not steal. So we should say, hey, that's Christian. Fuck it.
David totally killed some Goliath and chopped his head off too, apparently. Right. But the point is, you ain't got a vagina.
We'll get to that.
And so I don't presume to think that I have the right. Mm-hmm. I forgot who it was. It was somebody from fucking the American Revolution. Your rights stop where mine began.
Sure.
So once it gets to somebody's body, and I think you start doing apples and oranges with the murder and the thieving, and so you shouldn't kill and all that shit. That is a woman's body is her body. I don't want nobody saying, well, guess what? it's wrong every day because you produce 10,000 kids. You're supposed to bust a nut every day and make a kid, because that's kind of true. So it's already there's life in your body, and you need to fucking make that life come out. So you think about how absurd that is, and then again, if somebody told that to men, especially a group of fucking 100 women, I'd be like, fuck all y'all bitches. So it's crazy to watch 100 white men start telling every woman in this country what she has to do with her body and then claim that they have liberty. That's not liberty.
So I do want to get back to Joe Biden throwing niggas in jail, but what I'll say about this is I agree with you. I think a woman should, have control over her body until she has another body inside her. But
I agree to disagree to that. But that's her. We can disagree. That's still...
So again, white power, what we're talking about, manifests itself, I think, the systems, right? We're talking about education, which we're getting fucked. And then the criminal system that we're living in, right? All that. Again, it seems like it's set up through leftists. No,
man. I think that's a interesting narrative, and there's, I don't protect the left. I think, they're fucking, they're in the pocket of corporate America too. The big root of all not all. The big root, at the core root of all this shit is greed and capitalism, extreme capitalism. And so anybody with an agenda can go, if I got enough lobbyists, then my shit passes and I get what I want out of it. Mm-hmm. And you can get the same result either way from a leftist or a right person. I would just say this: the right is pretty honest about, they've always had these trigger words, and they create this narrative of the invader, and it's the niggers are gonna rape you, and and
it's fear. They create fear and racial division.
And so the left is gonna sell kumbaya, but meanwhile they win, whoever they are. And I watched the preacher pork chop, and he over there, acting like he's the new Martin Luther King, and all he doing is bankrolling himself. I get it. I don't ascribe to either one of them. At the end of the day, I do want the country to do better because I genuinely care about people. I want me to do better. I want to work hard and get the same fucking treatment, at least fucking 90% of the treatment that because you're white you get entitled to. In the same way that I think, why the fuck should my sister work the same job as me and get 30 cents less? It's not. Look, we can't even solve the basic principle of that. I don't give a fuck about left and right. How the fuck can you say you live in a civilized country and it treats 51%, the majority of its population, it won't pay them the same amount? That's just a weird fucking place to be. It's a fucking hypocrite country, man.
You've paid people before, right?
Yeah.
Producers, never, blah, blah, blah. Me too. I've owned companies. If someone comes in and I want to pay them $35 an hour, and they're like, and I'm like, so how much do we need to make this deal happen? They're like $30, and I'm like, cool, $30. And then if somebody else comes in, they're like, I need 37. I'm like, the best I can do is 35. And they're like, okay, 35. That has something to do with the wage disparity, all right? I don't think it's just like a necessary system. I think I don't think it's a system that you can look at and you can say, okay, these guys.
But that's just what you think.
These guys have set up. They have set up a little system.
I think they have
to throw people in jail, to throw them up against the wall first, right? Bloomberg, throw niggas up against the wall, find some weed on them, get them in the system, right? Now they're in the system. They can't get a job. Now they got to go do real crimes.
You don't think somebody has seen this through when scientists have shown people?
Yeah, but
these
why are we not
results?
pushing back against those people now? Like you're afraid of people because they say mean shit. I'm afraid of people because they lock our fathers up for 30 years for having dope on them.
And they're not doing that in Texas? What do you think's really happening in Texas, or what the Christian right is, bro?
Well, let me tell you, if that's happening in Texas, I don't support them.
Let me tell you,
I don't support them. But you're going to vote for Joe Biden. You're going to vote for Joe Biden.
The less of two evils.
The less of two evils. Yeah, Trump is letting niggas out of jail.
Man, don't fall for that shit.
What? Don't fall for that shit.
They've been. Do you know how long those things have been in work?
They never got done.
You know why Trump is letting niggas out? So he can let all his homeboys out when they find that, when they can. Basically, they already proved this nigga's a fucking scam artist and a fucking criminal. So he's letting out his homies.
He's letting out his homies?
Yeah, he is. Are you kidding?
Thousands of niggas is his homies?
Dude, do you know how many other times, like even in California, bro, if it wasn't violent crime, they reduced our crime. Like all that shit, they've been doing that. So this is all hype. It's hype. It's hype. It's total hype. Now, was he a fucking coward? Yeah, you goddamn right. He sure didn't. He was too busy appeasing fucking white people to go look at some of the situations where black men were wrong because he didn't want to look like he was overly protecting black people.
We can agree on that.
Now, Trump don't give a fuck. The only reason why he did it because he likes who he likes. Kanye is a coon. He got his coon boy girl, and the girl showed him some shit. He like, yeah, you know what? You guys are where's my African American? That shit. Put this coon on TV, and I can show how fucking magnanimous of a fucking cracker I am to let these niggers go. These couple of those thousand, their lives personally, of course, they're affected, and it's a great thing. What he's doing to this country, fuckery.
What is that? Worse than locking niggas up for 30 years.
When you financially fuck somebody for the rest of their lives. So all these all the tax breaks, the new trickle down economy.
That's not working?
That shit ain't working, man.
So what? So you don't believe in stats?
So rich? No, you believe who has stocks?
No, stats, statistics.
Statistically, I do believe in stats. You can lie with statistics,
but the unemployment rate has been going down for
it was
8 years.
It was going down before, and it went down more. And I'm not arguing for Obama. It went down more with Obama than it did.
Did it reverse itself though? I mean, because you're saying these bad forces just like policies are bad forces. I'm saying bad forces. Look, what is he doing? That's bad for us.
I'm going to say this: every ism of governing is run by somebody. And what happens is the reason why they fall apart is that either you're going to have, I'm a king, so an oligarchy, let's go archies instead of isms.
Okay.
So your oligarchy or your theocracy, whatever, they have to be run by somebody. And the reason why they usually fall apart is that once you get a lot of poor people, so there's usually going to be your worker class, your merchant class, so poor, merchant, rich motherfuckers, royalty, whatever that is. Republicans have once again reduced the middle class. The middle class is a working poor now. I know. Me personally, I've tried to work a job, and what you make and what the cost of living is not going to compute. They don't add up. And so now you got all these people that went to college. The same thing that Trump is doing also. Won't forget, knew they were hustles, all those fucking colleges, because he had a bullshit university. The government still says, fuck you, pay me. The kid lives at home, so the kid just did 4 years in college, was never directed to take the jobs of the future. And then, of course, Goldman Sachs, and I know this for a fact, the Sachs nigga was a fuck up, did a lot of coke, had fun. Guess who's running Goldman Sachs? Because his name is Goldman Sachs, or his name is Sachs. Mm-hmm. So, nigga, the rich get richer. We are our country.
You're still not telling me what Trump's doing though.
I just told you what he did. He did a tax break that only made the wealthy wealthier and fucked the middle class.
How did it fuck the what? So the unemployment rate was going down, wages were perking up a little bit, and it continued to go down.
This is a tax. We can revisit this in 2 years.
Okay.
When the bottom falls out,
they've already fall out in a couple of years, right?
No, but they have already said this, and once again, it did that. That's what Reaganomics did. If you give rich people more money, if you cut them, if they don't have to pay taxes, who has to pay it? We do. The working man. Because the poor people can't pay it. They're poor. Homeless people don't pay taxes. Rich people don't pay taxes. Who the fuck pays the taxes? Working people. Now, if you don't give us wage increases.
The top 2% pay like 40% of all the taxes in America, bro.
Yeah, right. I've never read that. You
go to the IRS.gov.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
I will definitely love to see that.
That's why I need my producer on. I'm like, hey, pull up the IRS.gov.
Yeah.
Real talk.
We can't agree to disagree until I see that.
Well, that's something we can look up.
Right, yeah,
that's something we can look up.
Yeah.
But okay, so back to this is what I'm trying to get from you so I can say, look. If I look at Joe Biden, he wants to keep us in failing public schools or liberals at all, whatever. And He's the architect of the modern day slave system known as mass incarceration.
He's not the
but
architect.
you're upset
I'm not
because
the
Trump gave
he's not the
motherfuckers a
architect.
tax cut.
Oh,
but you're
man,
going to vote for
stop.
this nigga.
Oh, stop.
Explain that to me.
Stop. So, and once again, I'm no defender of Democrats or Republicans, but let's just start here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to start from here.
Uh-huh.
I will never support somebody that walks down a golden escalator and pinpoints one ethnic group and says build a wall on them. It's un-American. So I'm done. So that's hatred at its finest. It really is. And to go to places where look,
wanting to enforce your border is hatred?
Huh?
Wanting to enforce your border is
no,
hatred?
to call one a people rapists, just a whole.
He didn't call a
people.
whole group.
Yes, he did.
No,
He said they're rapists, bro. I watched it when it happened in real time.
He said when Mexico sends its people, like when the government Cuba didn't send their people back in the 80s.
That's Cuba.
Right, they let motherfuckers out of jail
wait.
and send them over as refugees, just like these caravans. Just like the caravans we see.
So what? Australia did the same. I mean, fucking England did the same thing.
Right. But what I'm saying is what's happening today. Is happening today.
You sound horrible because what if that was your mother?
It's not.
And there was no fucking.
My mother's grandparents built this fucking country. It's their birthright, and we're giving it away. And you're okay with that?
No, we're not giving away.
Open borders, leftists. You like, that's cool. We should let everybody else in. Let them in. That doesn't hurt us. That doesn't hurt blacks more than anybody else.
Once again,
open borders doesn't hurt blacks anymore.
No, it doesn't hurt us.
What?
It doesn't hurt us more than anybody.
How not?
Because those people do jobs that you ain't gonna do as no fucking.
So
American.
Would you pick grapes for $1,000 an hour? I'm asking, would you pick? It doesn't, because motherfuckers will do it for $5.
Stop.
Do it for $500 an hour. We do it for $500 an hour.
That is the white man's argument.
No, it's the economics.
Because the other guy is taking your job, so he's never gonna pay you the $500. He was never.
So he's gonna stop eating. We're gonna stop.
He's gonna pocket the money. The rich don't spend more money. That's proven.
Okay.
The rich stay rich. You know why rich people stay rich?
Mm-hmm.
I knew some of them. Right. Rich people stay rich because they don't spend money.
So
everything's given to them.
So you're telling me
they don't pay for anything.
So we're like, hey, I love the studio. Shout out to Morris Studio, by the way. Morris Media Studio. That's where we're at. Yeah. Love the studio. So we both come in here, right? Both me and you, and we want to rent the studio from Felicia, right?
Right.
Okay. So if we want to rent the studio from Felicia,
this is a horrible.
No. Okay. So it's the supply and demand thing. Just like, okay, how about we use houses?
No, it's not.
If there's two people that want to buy a house and there's one house, is the price of the house going to go up or down? It's going to go up. And if there's labor, if there's one job to do and there's two people to do it, someone's going to say, I'll do it for $10. Nah, nigga, I'll do it for $9. That's what happens to wages when you have 10 million people here that ain't supposed to be here that are doing the same job as us. If they weren't here, the wages would be higher.
You're wrong. Our wages are still not.
The grapes would just rot.
It happens.
The grape, which motherfuckers.
Let me give you the horrible analogy that you have, but I'm going to give you a better one because it's not an analogy; it's a real life experience. Mm-hmm. I worked at McDonald's for 2 weeks. First week, I was fucking off, but now it doesn't matter what I was doing.
Sure.
The second week, I closed, and there's 40 hamburgers, 30 cheeseburgers, 10 hot apple pies. You get my drift. Mm-hmm. And I remember, bagging them up. It's like, bag that up. And then, or take whatever you want and throw the rest in the trash. And I'm like, there is like homeless niggas, outside. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't want to give, like, nah, store policy. Store policy is, put them in the trash can. I'm like, okay, I put them in the trash can. And he's like, now get the water hose and water them down. And I just remember thinking, Ronald McDonald, the happy Ronald McDonald guy, like the one with the McDonald's for kids, the McDonald's lands for the kid with cancer, he's so much hating on the homeless nigga getting a burger that I have to hit him with a water hose.
That's fucked up, but what's that got to do with the wall?
No, that has something to do with you talking about people taking your jobs. I'm telling you that corporations are fucking greedy. And their only thing is a bottom line. And if they can't make money, they don't want anybody else to even fucking breathe. I sued Capitol Records because they fucked with my life. And you know what they did? They spent 10 times more money than they ever spent promoting me to kill me and destroy me because they didn't want me to go somewhere else and become of value on their stock market. I'm telling you.
I believe that.
So what I'm
but
trying.
What's that got to do with Trump's wall?
Once again, Trump is he's an ethnic cleanser. He believes he's a liar. He believes his whiteness makes him better than other people. And
how does that affect us like mass incarceration?
So once again, the same thing they said during the Holocaust. First they came they did this before. First they made the Jews wear shit. They also, you got to remember, there was a time.
Bro, I know all that, but let's keep it today. Let's keep it today.
Let's keep it today.
How is building a wall white power?
It's because, for one, it's not the way. You spend so much money that it's not even effective. It really just
walls don't work.
Fuck no.
Walls don't work.
You know how many times I've been jumped over shit? Stop that. Stop it.
Walls don't work.
Right.
Walls don't work.
Yeah. Walls don't work. Come on, man. Walls do not work.
Walls don't work.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
We know that. You can ask any scientist.
Right.
The scientists have already said that doesn't work.
Walls don't work. So
they don't.
How is building that wall the white power though?
That's what it is. It's symbolism.
So you think open borders should be?
I never said open borders. See, you use these terms that white people gave you, and I don't believe in open. But there's all kind of countries all around this world, including Canada, where they don't have a big fucking wall.
Okay, but they still will arrest you if you try to sneak in their country.
And you should.
Okay.
Yeah. I never said don't arrest them. I'm just saying,
so it's the
why
wall.
would you spend?
So the wall
it's a waste of money. But, no.
Of...
If you are illegally entering a place and you get caught, that's on you.
Right.
Now, whatever happens after that, send your ass home, whatever the fuck has to happen. But don't waste a whole bunch of money on a stupid fucking wall.
So it's not white power, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money, not white power.
It is white power because only white people are rooting for that shit as a collective.
I don't know, man. Every brother I talk to, they're like, look, I don't know about Trump, but these Mexicans, which I'm not about. I mean, I'm not about like hating black, brown,
once again,
all that.
If he would have came down that wall and said, what's your last name, if you don't mind me asking?
We'll keep it as Saint.
Saint, okay. If he would have came down that wall and said all the saints, they're fucking rapists, because your cousin Willie fucked up in 1939. Right. All of the saints. So we need to fucking
his mouth.
We need to put him in a fucking in a ring with fire around it, and everybody say, "Yeah, burn that ring." Fuck that. You don't pick one people as a scapegoat. I mean, they were doing that in the 60s, man. Like,
bro, but I'm talking about today. We could have sworn we made today.
Right, today.
The wall is not stopping us from thriving as a community. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The wall's not stopping us as thriving as a community.
What is
let me tell you.
What is the flight ban on Arabs? What is that? What is that saving us from?
Terrorism. And it's not a flight ban on Arabs. It's not a flight ban on Muslims either. It's a flight ban on certain countries that are at war. If you're a Muslim,
who's the biggest country we really at war with? We are really at war with Russia, but that's his. But
there's not a hot war that you can't. If there's a war torn country, you got a whole bunch of refugees. None of them have passports. You don't know who's who and what's what, and people would put themselves in there and possibly. But hold up,
what they're saying.
Can Muslims come in from Muslims can come in from Indonesia, right? He's not banning Muslims. Muslims can come in from Jordan. He's not banning Muslims. He's banning places where you cannot verify who's coming in the fucking.
And also about
what's that white power?
Also about open borders. It is because you keep talking around it. The reality, the reality is that the man has created a xenophobia. He has created a white nationalism in America when America is a multi-ethnic country from when they stole it from the Native Americans.
Yeah, but the fear, I mean, you're saying the fear is what's holding us down. What is the issue? That's how it's manifesting stuff like this guy. So, but you're saying, you're arguing that it's worse than not letting motherfuckers go to good schools and locking us up for years and killing our kids in the womb. Like, this is shit that
killing our kids in the
all these leftists,
that sounds like a very
all
religious.
The leftists,
see, I don't bring about religion because everybody has different religions. Man.
If I say, and they're not doing shit about our brothers getting killed in the street either.
Of course not.
Right? What's that have to do with religion? It's the same shit, bro.
No,
all I'm saying is, hold on. All right. So I was going to wait until nature of the threat, right? So I was going to say, nature of the threat, I got two questions. One of them is this the song that put you on the map or the reason you're not a household name around the globe? We'll get to that. But
it's the latter.
we keep on coming back to abortion. And my second question was you talked about everything that's so terrible and oppressive to our communities, all like marginalized people and mentions a threat, but you never mentioned Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, the woman who wanted to cleanse
because that's your
black.
agenda.
That's not my agenda. That's the truth, man. So hold on. So Donald Trump says Mexico sends rapists, right? This chick says we got to get control of the black ministers so they don't know we are going to exterminate their population. Pull it up. We got it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But it's
I
the truth.
still wouldn't be surprised.
It's the truth.
I don't know it as fact, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Margaret Sanger, G01, Margaret Sanger. This is exactly what she said. Oh. Ministers who work are important and they should be trained because, our ideals are the goal that hope to be reached. We do not want them to go out to know that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Okay. And the minister is the man who can straighten that out. That is the lady who started Planned Parenthood.
I can quote.
But hold on. Okay. That doesn't scare you. But that doesn't scare you?
It doesn't scare me.
Oh my God. But calling Mexicans rapist scares you.
That scares me.
Oh, fuck. Well, we never get anywhere with that shit.
Yes, we will.
Are you kidding me?
But
100,000 black people die before they breathe, and that's not an issue.
Listen,
but a motherfucker said building a wall is an issue.
If you cannot afford a fucking child, or if you were raped, why would you not want the opportunity? I'm gonna actually be candid. I'm gonna actually be. No, you don't tell me what to do with my body. Again,
I won't until you have another human being inside you.
You don't have that right. You can't give me the caveat. That's not your right.
So that body is society. Why do you get to decide what's
that's
up
between you?
That's a baby.
That's you.
That's a fucking baby, bro.
That's you. That's your belief. You can project this belief.
That's sin.
See, science, you say that's sin. There it goes.
No. I was trying to say that's science.
No, it's not.
I was trying to say it's not science.
It's not formed. It has a tail. All kind of shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Has a tail, bro.
Right before they're born.
It had a tail in your dick and had a tail in there.
Right before they're born.
You talk about right before they're born.
Third trimester is not a baby. Third trimester. Third trimester. So we should be able to, if right before they're born. Yeah, it's a women's choice. Yeah. So we can abort the baby. Can you abort the baby 2 weeks before? You cool with that?
No, but you're being
Oh
ridiculous.
no, I'm asking.
See, you create these extreme narratives.
No. Here's why I ask. You think the government should be able to say you cannot have abortion 2 weeks before? 2 weeks before? 2 weeks before?
Everything in reason.
2 weeks before?
I would say that would be horrible.
Okay, but should the government be able to outlaw that?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, then why can the government tell a woman what to do with their body 2 weeks before, but not?
That's within reason.
Not 9 months.
That's within reason.
It's in reason. So now we're talking about reason. So your reason is different than my reason.
Yeah.
Your reason is different than my reason.
You will never get me to see the shit. So every time you jack off, you should go to jail. You kill some niggas. Come on, stop it, bro.
Because there's not conception. There's not conception until the egg and the sperm mix.
Stop it.
There's not conception, bro. That's just sperm.
Once again, let that person deal with their maker and who they unmade. That's on their terms. Up to a certain point of reason.
So murder's legal now. Death is legal. Like let him
legal in America. You know that. Your military and police murder every day. Giving people no nutrition is the murder, mental murder, emotional murder. To not help people, jailing people with mental issues, mental illness. That's murder.
Definitely is an issue. It's part of the problem.
Putting a baby in a jail because his parents were illegal is murder. Slow but sure, but it definitely is. So I don't understand how you pick your one righteous ideal that you want to defend because you feel so strongly about it, but all these other ways that they murder people, you're totally okay with.
I'm not okay with it. I don't want kids in jails. I don't want I always hear liberals talk about oh God, they're unsupervised. They're separated from their kids.
I'm not a liberal.
Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Clinton crime bill. Who was crying when they were separating us from our fathers? Where was you? You were there, actually.
I was there.
You was talking about it.
I was there.
I commend you. You're a philosopher on that shit. But the contradiction is, but you still vote for this nigga. That's the problem. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, listen, I don't want to vote for no fucking body. But
you
know what?
I know,
but you know what? You have.
Because one guy says mean shit, and the other guy's locked us up, and kills our kid, First of all, don't let us educate ourselves.
One guy is a traitor, period. That's why I don't want to vote for him. He's a fucking traitor. He didn't give a fuck. He'd sell his motherfucker. He'd sell the country if he could make $1. If he could sell it to Russia, he's a fucking traitor.
It hasn't worked that way yet, though.
Yeah. So yes, it has. He's been selling off chunks already. The education person he put in there, what's her name? DeVos. Fucking, he puts his cronies, his homies that give him money, and this bitch has done more destructive shit to education than
what?
Fucking.
Like what?
Come on, dude.
No, you can't just say that. I'm asking you like what?
She cut. Oh, I forgot. You love cutting the public education and then giving money to charter schools, but she only really. Do you know the percentage of charter schools that actually fail? By the way, too, they get all the money, 200,000, 500,000 a year. It's over 50% that some of them never even open up. So I just realized I'm going to open me a charter school and try to get me some Betsy DeVos money and never open that bitch up. So actually, you just gave me some hustle because that's some real shit. So you should do the math on what charter schools do.
But what has she done so far that's been fucked up?
That's what I just told you. She's diverting money to from
schools that we talked about that was part of the solution earlier. We said it's probably part of the solution.
Yeah, no, but non-public schools. They're failing because they're closing, for one. And if all the kids are in the public schools right now, we should probably at least fix them until we can get kids in the
That hasn't worked
schools.
for decades, bro.
Once again, I would rather that than the $500,000 goes to the school that has one kid in it. And there's documented cases of that last year. 2 kids in a fucking school and they getting all the bread. Meanwhile, kids down the street from here don't have one computer.
So yeah, I'm against fraud, waste, and abuse. If people are abusing the system and doing fraudulent shit because that's not how it's supposed to work, I'm totally against that. There needs to be regulation. There needs to be oversight. All that stuff. But
should I be the head of the World Health shit? No. Should I be the nigga making your food at a restaurant when I've never had food experience ever? Like I don't cook. But so the problem is you have a lot of the people that we have in places right now in our government because dude basically only puts his homies on.
Right.
He's like the biggest. He's like a rapper. He's literally a fucking rapper. He puts his homies in places, entourage, like places they should not be. They have no expertise. They're not intelligent enough to do it. They're not. So. He
just made billions by white privilege. I'm talking about all the homies he put, like Wilbur Ross and all these people he's putting in places. They're doing a great job. Ben Carson,
what the fuck has Ben Carson done except for he did the brain surgery. That's about it. Does he know anything about housing and urban development? No.
He knows how to run a huge organization. He ran Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
So you don't think opportunity zones is a good idea?
Do you think HUD has been serving the people? No,
I haven't seen a whole bunch of.
DeVos, whatever, I forgot that guy's name. The one with him and Jesus with the afro. Carson, whatever, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, he's a full coon, but whatever. If you have a wrath and an agenda and don't like the libs, I can join you. I'm fine. But I definitely, if you think that a conservative, somebody who's been walking around for the past 30 years, since I've had awareness, who says our country and the heartland, and he's a real American because the implication is I'm white. White people are American. You're a nig. And if you want to join an institution that would lynch you as soon as they got rid of the Mexicans, then so be it for you. I'm not interested. Fuck both of them, but definitely fuck them. Fuck Trump. Fuck Republicans. Fuck their nationalism. Fuck their Christianity that ain't based on nothing Christian. You don't put kids in fucking cages and think Jesus would say that. Jesus wouldn't build that fucking wall and none of that shit. So I'm not a Christian, but you ascribe to those things and you still would allow that type of shit and be with those people? Fuck them. I'd rather at least.
So I think you're overgeneralizing.
No, I'm not.
So when you say conservatives or people on the right say this is my country,
They do.
or real, and then liberals don't. So you tell me all them racist motherfuckers that run the record company, those are conservatives?
You're not this now. You're trying to create a different argument. I told you I don't fuck with either one, but I don't.
But what I'm saying is, all that type of thought that you're trying to act like is only on one side.
I never said that. I never said that. See, no. See, now
you say for the last 30 years, the conservatives.
That's
say,
exactly
this is
what
my
they've done.
this is my country.
What do they do at the rally? What do they do at the rally?
Chant
It's a Klan
USA.
rally. No.
They chant USA, man. That's fucking Klan. That's Klansy.
It's a Klan. That's what they used to do at Klan rallies, bro. Come on, man.
What, chant USA?
I'm sure they did. Build that wall. Lock her up.
It's funny. Every issue you have with Trump or conservatives or the right or whomever, right, is something they've said.
You keep
something
projecting.
they've said.
No, what they've done. They burnt and murdered people.
What? Who?
They burnt and murdered people. Lynched and murdered.
Oh, the KKK? Because that was started by Democrats.
Yeah, that went to the Republican Party.
Oh God! All right, but let's talk. Let's stay today. Let's stay today, okay?
Because
that's what we're talking about today.
You were just about to put that bullshit twist on there about when the Democrats were.
I'm not gonna go there. No, we're not gonna go there.
Talk about the wigs and the fucking fucking.
We would just be
George Washington.
We would just be yelling over each other and not moving the culture forward. So let's move the culture forward because we about to put in the guy who it was a fucking segregationist in the 70s, right? He was a segregationist in the 70s. Jesse Helms wasn't his boy. Robert Byrd wasn't his boy. Grand Wizard of Clinton. Man, it's on the wikis, dude.
I don't believe wikis. I don't believe wiki.
Wikipedia?
I believe
it's in Wikipedia, bro, not WikiLeaks.
I don't believe
this
Wikipedia.
Motherfucker.
I believe in encyclopedias, bro. Newspaper.
Man. You're telling
my
me
Wikipedia
it's well documented.
Off, bro.
Okay, do you believe Kamala Harris? She said this motherfucker was trying to stop busing and integration. He was a segregationist in the 70s.
Oh, man,
but you're going to put him.
You're putting little parts.
Little parts.
And
in the 80s,
Kamala Harris was locking niggas up. Talking about
she's terrible. Yeah,
she's a horrible person.
I don't know her either. I wouldn't vote for her either. But she probably going to be vice president to brainwash y'all niggas and say, "Ooh, look, she looks like me. She looks like me."
You're not talking about me. I'm not brainwashed.
You're going to vote for them.
And you gonna vote for a nigga that will lynch you and your kid.
But you can say that. You're just saying that. You're just saying that. But I'm saying this guy literally said, I'm the architect of every crime bill of the 80s and 90s. Literally, he said that. He said that. That's who you're going to.
You are.
Trump never said I'm going to lynch every nigga. You just said that.
Yes, people do.
Okay.
That's what the people at his rally
all right.
said.
This is the problem, people. We're so worried with what people say as opposed to what people do. This motherfucker does not want to educate our kids. He wants to kill us in the womb. He wants to lock us up. He's the fucking architect of modern day.
Now he wants to lock. Trump's doing the locking, man.
Trump is letting people out, man. The First Step Act. Look it up, bro.
I can't believe.
Come on, man. Like you've never heard that.
You drank the Kool-Aid. They got you.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
So the First Step Act's not real?
Oh man, do you know how long that's been in the process?
Bro,
they've been that.
Why didn't it get done?
I told you.
Obama and Biden had the whole Congress the first 2 years they were in power. Why wouldn't he make that a priority?
Universal health care.
Why didn't he make that a priority though?
Well, you know what?
Big up on universal health care.
Good for the people that got their universal health care.
Yeah, but you said it's been going on for a long time. Why didn't they get it done? Because this nigga set it up. Biden set it up, bro. Look it up, man. Come on, come on. Man.
You would have to, you know. Smart. The fact that you defend one side of the same coin is interesting to me. I just find it interesting.
I'm not defending anything.
You do.
I'm interrogating you.
Your whole thing is
why?
If
you can see a whole system. No, I'm demonizing people that set up systems of white oppression, of white power that you talk about and you even talk about. They do it through fucking the war on crime, bro. Who is the architect of the war on crime? The dude you're about to elect.
Who came out and said the same shit that the what's his name in the South, the Klan dude said, and then Reagan said, "I'm the law and order president." You talking about the war on crime, the law and order,
you keep
man.
on bringing up shit that people were saying. I'm saying there's a whole generation of people there was a whole generation of people that were fucking locked up and their kids were unsupervised, and now they acting like what the leftists on TV tell them to act like, shucking and jiving, fucking doing that shit. And what you're saying is you cannot see that system oppression because Donald Trump says mean shit.
So when in Central Park, let alone outside of his horrible, the money he had to pay for his racial discrimination in housing, Donald Trump. He's also the guy that.
How's that affect us today?
What do you mean? How it affects us?
No, he owned a business. He didn't let niggas rent his apartments. Okay, how's that affect us today?
Because they rolled about a lot of that back too.
Okay, all right, keep going. I'm sorry.
A lot of the protections for people of color they rolled back. Talk about we don't need them anymore. We need them more than ever because now all the discrimination, we can't take him to court because he's packed this shit with these right-leaning fucking racist ass judges and sexist judges. And he's a racist and a sexist. But let's get back to his history. He said about President and who this man is. This is also a man that when the Central Park Five were falsely accused and being coerced into trying to admit into something, he took his own personal money to put out a full page ad in every major New York magazine to convict children before they could even go to trial because he's a fucking racist. He's a fucking devil. He's a piece of shit.
Did he say?
He said he wanted them to be killed more than
because
once.
They were black.
Come on, man.
I'm not. Look, I'm not gonna defend Trump on Central Park 5. He was wrong. He was disgusting about it.
He has a history. If he has a history of denying black people, if he had the fair opportunity to rent in a place, if he has a clear pattern of racism, and he totally does, then of course that's why he spent his money to say they're fucking animals. When you do the animal, and yeah, we can say when Hillary Clinton said the uber predator shit, that's that fucking. Look, there's something called loaded language, right? Things that you say to insinuate other shit. So
now you got to get off the language, bro.
No, I'm not.
I'm looking at niggas in jail, and you talking about people are saying mean stuff.
No,
I'm just letting you know.
And that sounds good. And that's a great catchphrase. No, but it's not based. It's not rooted in reality.
No, it is.
This is catchphrase
because we can talk about what's in people's hearts and what their motives are.
I'm literally
how they feel. But I'm saying we should break down the criminal justice system as it is built today. We should change the education system as it's built today. Not talking about how people should talk.
Okay. Anyway. So you can talk over me, or we could, I was literally telling you historically, recently, who Donald Trump is and why I would not vote for him. And meanwhile, what you like to do is attack and find a catchphrase, which is some Fox News shit. I'm not interested in Fox News shit. I'm interested in facts. Okay. So no, I wouldn't vote for a man with a historic pattern of hatred towards me, specifically my people, but apparently it has leaned so far to be considered the face of the Ku Klux Klan and white radical nationalism. So
that's because the news makes it that way.
So that's not true. So if
he hasn't.
They're fine people here. There's good people.
Oh, the fine people thing, man. Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Come on, you're too smart for that, bro.
Nah.
You're too well informed.
So
who was he talking about when the fine people?
Who's the fine people on both sides? A Klan rally and people protesting, period. Moms, dads, the whatever the
He wasn't talking about the Klan rally though.
Yes, he was.
Felicia, pull up AA01, please. The video. So this is the biggest propaganda thing that we have fallen for is the Charlottesville shit. He said both people are fine people on both sides. Let's see what he said the day that the homegirl got killed by the car, the day after, and the day after that. Like he literally stomped on white supremacy, bigotry, all this stuff within those days. He said that.
Okay.
And then he explained who the fine people were.
Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs. including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. And you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
So he wasn't talking about Klans people. He was talking about people that were there to to protest the Robert E. Lee. He was not. He said on day 2, I am denouncing KKK, white supremacy,
I love the fact
all those people, neo-Nazis. But then he explains who the both sides are.
I love the fact that you can find some degree of rationalization about this fucking demon, but meanwhile you have
explain what he meant.
You know this motherfucker. You know this motherfucker. Listen, brother.
Know, because
Antifa doesn't have a fucking 200, 400 year history of murdering and hanging people.
But they were there and they were causing shit. They were causing fights, man. Come on.
Listen,
there's
brother,
video. There's video. Antifa was there.
What more video is there? Listen, man. That's what they did to the Black Panthers. But let's talk about now, because you don't want to talk about
Antifa's the Black Panthers.
That's what they did. So when you militarize up because they're militarizing on you, you're the bad guy. So I don't want to hear that shit about Antifa. The crazy shit is you got a whole
problem with being lockstep with the left, man. You got to support Antifa.
A whole bunch. I don't support Antifa, but I'm just telling you, you don't. That's apples and oranges to a fucking 200-year, the Ku Klux Klan, 300, 400-year-old since damn near the founding of this country. Cowards that raped, murdered, and killed.
So he was talking about the
He was
KKK?
defending the fucking skinheads. And yes, he was.
Even though he said he wasn't?
He did that 2 days later, man. No, he didn't.
No, the day after the car accident, or not accident, the car murder.
The murder.
He came out. So the day of, he said, we condemn bigotry. The day after, he said, we condemn bigotry to... See, this is the problem, people. He just watched it. You just watched this and you still don't believe it, bro.
You go watch it and put it in its context and know that this man had to he wouldn't denounce it the first day. That's why he read it out the teleprompter.
He said bigotry.
Okay, look, if that's how if you want to rationalize that Donald Trump the only time Donald Trump attacks something head on is if it's black, brown, or Arab, or female. He does not denounce white supremacy until he's forced to say, I think that sniffs and shit. Like he sniffed a gang of coke. That nigga's definitely on coke or some shit. I think, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck him in his fucking ass.
This is where we go with this, right?
So, yeah, he only denounces when he's forced 2 or 3 days after. He'll double down. And that's why.
Double down by saying, I denounce KKK, white supremacy, and neo-Nazis. How's it doubling down?
Both sides. There were some good guys on the other side. Shut the fuck up. The good guys on that side didn't drive over the girl and drive into a crowd for white power. So there's no need.
The guy who did that was a neo-Nazi. The people that were protesting.
Listen, look. They all obviously. First of all, fuck anybody that would go protest bringing down some fucking Ku Klux Klan racist nigga statue. So
have you been to a concentration camp?
You lay down.
Have you been to a concentration
camp?
Have you been to a concentration camp?
I have never walked inside a concentration camp.
Okay, I know you're well traveled. I know you're going back to Europe. Next time you go to Germany, my man, go to Dachau. Go to a concentration camp and let me know if you think that should be torn down. That's evil, bro. And when you walk through that, you understand what evil is. And I understand that these statues were built as oppression to aggravate us, to get in our face, to oppress us, right? But those concentration camps were built to smoke motherfuckers. And what I'm saying is...
And now he smoked motherfuckers. He started a war. He's not a fucking war hero.
Who?
Whoever the General Lee and all them fucks. Yeah. They weren't patriots. They were fucking. So I'll tell you what. I agree. You try to overthrow the government, what's going to happen to you? They tried to overthrow the government. It should be no fucking picture, no flag. They were fucking, what do you call them?
Separatist, racist.
No. I'm talking about just the legal term when you try to fuck over the government.
they're traitors.
Traitors.
Yeah.
They're traitors to the state, which is execution.
Yep.
Wait. Let me finish. So who's marching for a fucking traitor to the state? So where's the good people in that? Where's the good people that wanted to keep a statue of a fucking traitor that murdered hundreds, started a war that killed millions of niggas and stood for a system that murdered hundreds of millions of your people? Where's the good people? Where's the good people in that?
They're standing next to the people that want to
come on, man, stop.
that want to keep up the or not tear down the concentration camps.
Stop.
Look, it's history, man. I'll tell you what. We can agree on this. I don't want them shits there either. Okay? But what we're talking about is
that Donald Trump's a piece of shit.
Say, blah, blah, blah. And all I'm saying is you hear it on the news. They say, good sides on both people. He's talking about KKK and all these people. When he specifically the day before said, I'm not talking about these motherfuckers. And then he said,
he never said that. You never showed me that.
He did. The second thing he said, I denounce racism, the KKK, white supremacy, and neo-Nazis. That was the second clip. Should we put it back up?
I know you kind of threaded a narrative to make it sound digestible the way you said it, and it's not. It's not what he did. It's not what he said.
He denounced racism, KKK, white supremacy.
The second day he did.
He did. The first day.
Prior to that, even when the leader of the Klan,
David Duke,
whatever, he's like, oh, I don't know who. Like, this thing is a liar, bro.
Right.
Plus he's a fucking
Right. So again, we're caught up on language, and what I'm saying is, as we're caught up on language, niggas are rotting in the jail, and kids are in the hood not getting an education because we talk about this shit. I'm telling you right now, dog, this is a wasted conversation right here. This part is wasted.
That's up to your interpretation.
I don't really think so. I'm just saying it's better spent on talking about some things that we could actually change. I'm not going to change.
You brought this here.
I'm not going to change what's coming out
this is your format. Okay. We can talk about anything you want to.
All right. In that case, let's move on. Let's move on. Opioid Crisis, man.
Yes, sir.
Because we're first of all, let me say a couple things about a couple other songs because I really didn't want to miss any of them, man. Shark Week. Shout out to Nino Beige. Got Justice League back on with the shits.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's hot, man. Guns N' Roses. I was going to ask you about this. We don't have time. Guns N' Roses. Featuring Stop P. LL Cool J featuring Snoop. What's up with the wordplay there? We'll get to that on episode 2. Let's talk. But what I want to talk about is trap music, man. So the trapped music, part 1 and part 2.
It shouldn't have been that way, but yeah,
it's dope. Okay. It's dope, man. First of all,
it should all been one record.
We trap into the oldies. That's my favorite hook, by the way. We trap into the fucking oldies, dog. This is when, after Snoop came on, I'm like, man, it's about to get real West Coast, and then it just did. This shit is fucking hot, dog. So anyway. And I feel like I'm going to rush to a couple of things, but I want to get to a couple of things. So a lot of your lyrics, you talk about this and that, guns. You know, you're a rapper, right? You talk about guns.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't go over well with the left. Right. And you've explained you're not a leftist, you're not a liberal, blah, blah, blah. But are you one of these guys that think that there is some type of legislation or law or something that we can do to stop mass killings or all these shootings that we're having in Chicago or whatever else?
I think the world shows you that, Australia, New Zealand, London, they show you that if you have gun control, you have less gun violence. It's just kind of what it is, man. On the flip side, I forgot what it is. It's another country where everybody can have
so
guns.
nobody has guns over there, right? Australia and...
Australia, they had a shooting and they
nixed them?
They nixed them, London, yeah.
So you support that type of law here?
No, but I don't. I think, me personally, my pops is LAPD. Or retired. I would say this. Again, we get into, everything in balance, in moderation. So, these niggas had guns, that took 45 minutes to reload in 1829 or whatever the fuck, 1776. If you're hunting elephant, you don't need bump stops and all that shit. You just don't, because that ain't really hunting no more. Now you just
Trump
slaughtering.
outlawed bump stock.
No,
I'm saying Trump did outlaw bump stock.
Okay. Well, my thing is my thing is just period. Semi-automatics, as the Tommy gun, as I think the first one was called. It's not practical when there's civilization, there's war.
A semi-automatic or an automatic?
I think semi-automatics are kind of.
So one pull, one bullet. All those should go away.
No. It just I think hunting.
You don't like assault rifles. Like
I don't. It's not that I don't like anything. I just think it's not practical in the streets. I shouldn't go to Alpha Beta. I went way back. They don't even exist no more. Ralph's. I don't think I need to go to Ralph's with my motherfucking rocket launcher. I just don't think it's practical.
Right, of course.
So, I think there's certain places where you hunt. It makes sense. And we all hunting, and everybody got their shotguns. And you should be able to have your burner if you look. You got to get a license to drive a car, but you don't have to really go through the same shit to have a kid or shoot a gun. And I find that strange.
Own a gun, shoot a gun, shoot a gun, own a gun.
Own a gun, period.
Man, it's tough. It's tough out here. It's tough out here, man.
It's lax in different places, and if you're smart, you go somewhere else to get it and have somebody buy it.
It's one of the most restricted places in Chicago. Niggas get killed there every day with guns.
Well, but that part.
But you think ARs and that type of stuff just overkill?
I just think it's not a hunting gun at that point unless you hunting people. The ultimate hunt. So
you would outlaw those?
Me personally, I don't know about. Yeah, I probably would. In a city structure. Now, if y'all niggas out in the motherfucking desert, you and Big Bear, nigga, and it's nothing but trees and let off. There should be designated what. I'm about practicality. What do you need for the situation? Yeah, everybody want to pop their gun.
So practical. Yeah. Practically. Felicia, pull up E1, please. Handguns versus assault weapons. So practically, more people died from handguns.
I believe that.
I believe that. So here's the graph, right?
Yeah,
we got handguns.
I definitely
65% rifles. Assault rifles are like 3%.
Okay.
So from a practical standpoint, outlawing ARs are not going to stop niggas in Chicago getting killed, Milwaukee, all that. Yeah. So what? That makes us feel better. It's like Trump not saying mean shit, but motherfuckers just still getting killed.
You gonna keep trying to shoot with the.
No, here's the reason I do that. Here's the reason I do that, my man. Here's the reason I do that. Because black people are emotional, right? We emotional. Come on. So black people are emotional.
I'm passionate. I'm not emotional.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we react to things that are external stimuli, like things we hear, things we feel. You know what I'm saying? But we don't enough times. What I'm trying to do here is concentrate on practical systems that are really set the fuck up to fuck us. Like everything this guy says is not fucking us. Education system as it is today is fucking us, and the leftist liberals who run the unions who will not let us change that is fucking us.
That is your,
but we keep them
your belief. I disagree.
It's my belief,
but
man.
that
is statistics, bro.
That's not all statistically true.
It's statistics.
But I would say with guns, there are countries that have proven it. So you could show me a statistic that says...
Yeah, but we can't ever get there, though, right?
It depends.
So you think we should confiscate all semi-automatic weapons?
Well, I'm going to say this.
The government can do that?
I think the government can do whatever it fucking wants if it wanted to.
Yeah, but from a practical standpoint...
No, I'm just trying to tell you, I think it's not... Look, we didn't have... You know the song. Look, it wasn't... Things ain't a crisis until the white kids get hurt. So everything else is a plague and an epidemic and a pandemic and the niggas is tripping and the crack epidemic because the niggas is stealing our TVs and whatever. When the white kids is fucked up, it's a crisis. We need more help. We need intervention. The other shit was build more jails. These niggers and beaners. So I know how this shit works. Yeah. My bottom line is this, man. Niggas shooting each other, they don't care because they can that's 2 dead lives. I killed you. Now, they're going to catch me because somebody going to snitch anyway, and then I'm gone forever, too. Yep. They don't give a fuck about that. But now, I think, once again, I'm an American citizen and I'm a world African citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are in my best interest. I think having a gun as a black man is, nigga, you should have one.
Mm-hmm.
Legal or illegal, that's on you. If you get caught, that's your deal.
But you're going to vote to have Beto run the gun policy. That's what your boy said. Beto's going to run the policy.
And,
he said, we're coming for your guns.
It's shameful that you project that shit on me, but I'm not dumb enough to fall for it because you keep naming these names like I got this nigga shirt on. I told you I don't fuck with none of these cats. So
but you're going to
the fact that you project that.
But we know, man.
But you support a guy that's a piece of shit. A full devil. He's an evil, and his policies are bad for black people. And so that's really sad.
What policies? Which one?
We already went through it, and I'm not.
No, the policy. No. You went through a bunch of stuff that he said, but what policy?
His policies are bad.
Refresh me on one policy.
Refresh you on one.
Yeah.
The tax breaks. Period. The corporate tax breaks.
Opioid crisis. Let's move on, man. Opioid crisis.
Yes, sir.
This is the fuck. Do you remember this chorus, man? Could you do this chorus? This is.
Let's see.
Putting you on the spot.
I can't remember it. I mean, I don't remember everything that I say. Black drug addiction. We get black drug addiction. We get blamed for our vices. They cry for treatment when it happened to the white kids. The war on drugs or opioid crisis. Big Farm kill more Americans than ISIS, which is facts. Mm-hmm. The DEA is El Chapo. They the drug dealers.
El Chapo.
No. The FDA. The FDA is El Chapo. They the drug dealers. Drug shops on every block, yo. Walmart, Rite Aid, Walgreens. Heron in your mainstream.
Dwayne Reed.
Heron in your mainstream.
Bro, if y'all haven't heard that, turn that on. I mean, that shit is fire, bro.
Thank you.
This shit is fire. Oh my gosh. All right, man. Pharmaceutical companies, should these people go to jail?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's proven that, we have emails, shit, so we know that these people knew they were misrepresenting the addiction, toxicity, the murder rate of their drugs, and they made a shitload of money. And they killed a lot of people.
Strong motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
And since like Reagan, since cracking Reagan, you haven't seen nothing like this.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So when I think of Reagan, I automatically think of crack. You know what I'm saying? Do you think poor white people will always equate Obama with pharmaceutical grade synthetic smack?
No, that shit was already popping. I found out before.
But he didn't regulate it though for like 8 years though. They regulate everything.
What happened there?
What happened?
I'm not protecting him. You should ask him. I don't have the answers. I'm not an Obama protector. But
I'm not an Obama protector.
I'm not.
No, I was just.
I don't have that answer. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I know he didn't do shit for me. So again, I don't have a big.
You're not.
I don't like any of those people.
Yeah.
I just don't have a choice until I leave this country.
Right.
I have to pick something. Because
I think you're having trouble picking the lesser of two evils, though.
No, I totally think I know which one is way more evil.
I know which one makes you feel bad.
It doesn't make me feel bad. I just know that shit. That nigga's all them demons. I'm cool on that. But I would say, I think I answered it. Yeah.
No,
I don't ride with Obama, so I don't know. I don't know why.
I don't know. All right, man. So the last track on the album, Ghosted, it just brought everything all the way around, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you ended with how you ended the first album and how this one was different. Mm-hmm. You know that line?
I said the first album ended with me in the booth getting smoked. This time I want to leave you with hope. Shalom. Peace. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
This album left me with hope, dude.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you.
I mean... if it made me feel like we can make incredible fucking music, like incredible music, and it still have that social change message, that upliftment message, the history. It's important. This is an important album. I think it's an important piece of work, man.
If Jay-Z or Eminem would have made it, everybody be screaming how this the best fucking thing ever made, but. Yeah. I don't have the corporate machine behind me, and And Trump's not my friend either. Maybe if he tweets about it, so maybe this will get me on the
Tweet it
radar. Fuck you, Trump. How about no? I like you. I'm your black too. Promote my album, bitch ass nigga.
So let me ask you this.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, man. I understand.
Nah,
You mad.
okay. I'm not.
So 25 years from now. 25 years from now.
I will do it.
Will somebody listen to this album and will they say, damn, it's been, hold on. Fucked up my line there.
Okay.
25 years from now, will someone listen to this album and say, damn, it was that bad back then? Or will they say, damn, it's still this bad? I'll double
down. Yeah, I'll double down that the people will say, shit don't change.
I was always don't have any hope that in 25 years from now we can get out of this situation.
The world is cyclical. The human condition, no matter, somebody's going to be oppressed.
True. So,
unfortunately, under what we call the Judeo-Christian Western civilization, which has been going on for about 4,000 years, obviously the people that are going to be most oppressed are the darkest because they are lighter-skinned people, and that'll change, and maybe it'll be Chinese people and China and maybe Russia. And then we'll all fucking want to have little furry hats and Asian eyes, and everybody who's not that will feel oppressed. But you
don't see that condition evolving.
The
over
human
the next 25
condition,
years.
the human condition doesn't change, and I don't foresee because white Russians push a pro-white agenda too. You know, Pushkin was from there, Alexander Pushkin, and Pushkin was black. And they kindly and their ancestry is Asian, Caucasian. They got conquered by the Khans, the Tartars or whatever they were called before they were Russians.
Bro, I spent 12 hours in an airport in Moscow.
Oh, you see mad Asians?
I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah,
I didn't know these people.
Yeah, mad Mongolian. They don't call them Chinese, Japanese. They'll kill you. They speak Russian. It
was interesting.
Yeah, whole different. Yeah, culture shock. But that's their land over there. So they tore their ass a hole. But then the white part of them is I want to be ultimate white man. So I'm Russian white guy, but they bitches kind of look Asian. Look at Russian girls. You see the cut, the slanted eyes, and the whole thing. Yeah. So if you're a student of history, you understand the dynamics. I think this album in 25 years. You know, if I'm alive, I will do the third installment of my journey because I'll have been blessed enough to analyze 50 years of my life by then and doing what I love. But I think, I don't think our country, I think, will have drastic, radical change. But somebody's going to lose. So I think that part will stand up because I just think we're at a time where the radical right is interested, you know, they're into they're worried about, which is why they disenfranchise voters, and they purposely do it. Is they're worried about what's going to happen. White people have been the majority in this country, but in about 15 years they won't be, and that's why even in certain cities and states. The voting switches. That's why they disenfranchise women. Because if you want this to be a democracy and you don't let women vote, then how is it really democracy? And then the women start voting for what they want. If you let the Mexicans vote, they're going to vote for what they want. So how do we, with blacks, they figured out how to do it early on with us. They did all the Jim Crow laws. They made sure, you know, we had some kind of criminal record that, you know, would make sure we couldn't vote. And now that some of those things we tried to solve, they're instituting them again. And making it harder to vote. But somebody, to answer your question, somebody will, I think they'll listen to that record. Hopefully I'm a superstar getting the just dues I deserve. And they'll be like, wow, I was just, you know, I'm only 15 years old and all I knew was the new shit. But that old shit is crazy. He's a fucking prophet. No, I'm not. It's just fucking, you know. This shit been going on for since the beginning of time. Somebody fucked somebody over. Cain killed Abel. There's always a hater.
I don't know about a prophet. I would say you're definitely a philosopher.
No, I'm a philosopher.
You're a philosopher.
I'm a historian and a
for
philosopher.
Sure.
That's all.
The reason I said not prophet because
No,
the last song we're going to talk about, which is American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I think we can agree didn't age really well. Right. You didn't predict. Everything you predicted didn't really come to pass. Right. You know, so, I mean, you talked about weed's not a felony. That's good. That's good. He didn't do that.
No, some places are still felony. Some places,
but federally they didn't make it back to a felony. I guess he hadn't changed. I mean,
he hasn't changed it. He hasn't changed it.
What else did you say here? You didn't deport 11 million Mexicans. Not yet. Right?
He is. He's working on it.
He's working on it.
He's working on it.
He's working on it.
He's working on it. He's working on that.
Mm-hmm. My favorite line. The line I chuckle to every time I hear it, I guess it's not my favorite line, but it's the line I laugh because the way you deliver it. But you're like, young people and blacks didn't vote because we don't trust Hillary. Like, real talk. Do you trust Hillary Clinton?
I don't like politicians, man. Politicians, lawyers are professional liars. Politicians just suck the dick of whoever gives them their money, which is lobbyists, and rich people control lobbyists, corporations. Mm-hmm. The rest of this is we are texture on a wall. That's how this system works. Until you get enough to become people and demand shit.
And actually, so
with decorations
in the pre-production,
we're like the engine to a really pretty car.
You're right. on a national scale, something I'm looking at the time. Let me see what we got. How much time we got, Felicia? Okay, all right. So we're gonna wrap up.
Wrap it
up. Look, man. Here's what I want to say.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah.
Right. I think that we found some things that we just agree to disagree.
Yes, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
What I would like for us to do, and the reason I'm trying to have this forum is because I want us to concentrate as a people on things that are practical, things that we can change, right? And the last segment of what we're going to do on the podcast every time is called Add an Amendment. Felicia, we're going to wrap on this. So if you could just throw up K2, and when we talk about changing something,
okay,
this is how I would change America. So Section 1 would be the 13th Amendment of the Constitution is hereby repealed. You're like, what is that? The 13th Amendment is repeal or outlaw slavery, so that's scary, right? But Section 2, right? Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist in the United States or any place subject to its jurisdiction. And it's just like the 13th Amendment, except it doesn't say that you can enslave prisoners. And that's what this is about.
Okay. I could dig that.
Right. And then no business shall seek financial gain by providing or operating a facility designed to house prisoners of the U.S. government. So we take away that magnet of profitability in the jail cells. Right. So when politicians are getting lobbied to throw niggas in jail for 30 years in the Clinton crime bill, then they'll go, no, we're not going to do that. He
loves putting the Clinton.
I love the Clinton crime bill, bro. I love it. I know a lot of people whose fathers were locked up, bro, and they didn't have no supervision. So anyway, that is how I think from a practical standpoint, we could stop what I consider modern day slavery, because you can enslave people. Look up the 13th Amendment, people. It literally says if you are a prisoner, they can enslave you.
Yeah,
and we should do away with that. We should get away with that. So that would be my amendment. Sir, do you have anything that you would change?
That was scary about the 13th part, but I like the parts you want to take away. I could dig it. I'm going to do two really quick.
Yeah.
I think we should have a fact amendment, which means basically for education. There's no white, black history, none of that shit. There's only factual history. And if you taught people the truth of where we come from, origins, and all this stuff, people would find commonality. So that's one very big thing that I don't believe in Black History Month. Every fucking month. I don't believe in Mother's Day. People just don't know shit, and so they believe everything that's taught to them culturally or in an environment. The only other thing I would do, and I think is even more important, is, or just as equally important, is usury amendment. I think we need an amendment all our isms are because we pay, we pay too much for shit, and then we need help and we need loans, and then people rob us, and we, I had the child support, and if you were late a month, that shit, it's 15, 20%. That's usury. Like, why are you charging me that much money, man? And that's what loan sharks came in, because black community didn't have money, and you had to, so just in business period, I would make an amendment that, whatever, the biblical, the Judeo-Christian way would be loan with no interest rate. I loan you this money, you pay me my money back. It's not the best business model, but it should be capped somewhere between 3.5 and 5%. I think that would be fair to make this country and this world a better place. But definitely this country, we have ridiculous interest rates, and then they fuck you on the paperwork somewhere down the line, and you can never get out of that hole. And that's what a lot of these college kids are going through.
Man, financial enslavement. We didn't talk about it, but it's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
I know. I'm going through it.
Real. Hey, man. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I couldn't be more honored. Seriously,
yeah, man, it was awesome.
To me, you're a legend. To many people, you're a legend.
Appreciate you.
I can't tell you how honored I am that you stopped by.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our kickoff to season 2 of the St. LibCon podcast. Come back if you like our content, like it, share it. Right?
It gets fiery in here.
It gets real fiery. We're gonna have some more debates. They're gonna be a little more focused. But what we're trying to do is make sure that you hear these conversations so you can have new ideas about changing old problems. So keep watching. And if you're a tastemaker, if you're an influencer, artist, somebody that wants to come on and debate me about something, I want to debate you. Let's get it. Thanks for joining us. And we out. Thanks again.
Charlottesville, Virginia. We condemn in the...
Got fiery. I like it. Trying to get me.